Okay. So, I encourage everybody to read. I don't really see a lot of 702B. Okay. So the intention of this is to kind of just do a refresher on ethics and like I think it's a lot of surrounding of like targeting people and the community. People should feel safe to come here and speak, regardless of how they uh, feel. And so there's also been a lot of, I think a big concern has been like filming, like board members filming other board members without their consent. Specifically, Nancy Loera, how she has recorded me over 4 different times without my consent. And on the video that she recorded, it's telling her to not record me. And then in one of those instances, she brought that audio to the meeting for her public comment to try to embarrass me. But all it showed her recording me without my consent. Then we had another incident with Mr. De La Torre where she was recording him without his consent. And then she used that video to create a viral video to harass him and his family, reach out to his family's employment. That is unacceptable for board members to be using their time to attack other board members. And it's really to a level of harassment. And I know Ms. Quiñones has also been recorded without her consent and singled out by Ms. Loera or Ms. Salazar at different events. And that's just completely inappropriate. Particularly like recording us without our consent, making us feel uncomfortable to attend events. There's a lot of events that around the election time, I had to stop going to them because people were intentionally trying to like start stuff with me and get very close to me and poke at me and record in my face. And it was other board members. You know, it's one thing if it's the district, I mean, I'm sorry, community members, but it's absolutely different if it's another board member harassing you, creating a hostile work environment. And so that's why we're bringing this up to do a refresher. People talk about trainings all the time. I would encourage our team to review specifically the person violating these ethics to do a refresher on ethics and how you treat your teammates. So that was the root of having this here. It's unfortunate that we have to have a conversation about ethics, but we are experiencing what some of us might believe to be harassment by certain board members. Example, recording us without our consent and then publicizing those videos online to try to further harass us. Once again, if it's the community, it's one thing, it's completely different if it's a board member. So does anybody want to add? Ms. Quinones?
The board has to be held to higher standards. Recording the community while they're making public comments or just simply sitting down, listening to what is going on is highly unacceptable. I think that we have to look at the bylaws and look and see what is it that we can change to make sure that we are held accountable, that we are aware at all times that we are here representing the district and our actions have been questionable. I would like to see more civility. So that when Stephanie and I were thinking about this, we were thinking about how do we make each other accountable? Because I want to be held accountable for my actions too. It's not just 1 or 2 board members. I think all of us should be held accountable and to a higher standard. And that's not currently being done. And it's simply because it's not in writing. For example, I would like to see that while we're up here, we are not to be recording the public. We are not to be using those recordings to post on social media to attack those people that criticize you. Because as an elected official, we signed up for that. We may not like to be criticized, but that's just part of what we go through. Now, do you take it personal? You don't, because your job here is to ensure that you are representing the people that elected you. So if you're going to take everything personal and attack people constantly, that's not good behavior from a board member. And every visit that I went to the different schools and even events, I was very embarrassed because people kept coming up to me and telling me, I watched, I called my friends and I watched the board meetings because it's like a soap opera. That should not be the case. I'm totally embarrassed by that. Or other people that say, you know what, I see that chaos. I'm thinking about taking my kid out of the school district. That should not happen. I think that I will commit to being a better board member. I will commit to listening to you. I ask you to coach me if I'm doing something incorrectly, but I also would like to see something in writing that's going to hold every single board member accountable. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Quite often I used to hear Miss Salazar, and I've heard you as well, apologize for the fiasco or whatever people call it. But I just want to say that when you guys apologize, you're not apologizing for me. I mean, I know you're apologizing on behalf of the team, but I'm actually really proud of how I have maintained my integrity despite all these constant attacks from many places, including people that consider themselves to be very respectable. I have stood here for 4 years and led with integrity. And so I'm not part of that clown show. There's people that have intentionally had people come to our board meetings to push a personal political agenda. There's people that come here that have never once mentioned anything about their child. It's just political attacks. At one of those people is actually literally a clown. And so they're the ones that are causing the clown show that are. And so I want to add to this code of ethics that as board members, we shouldn't be riling up the community to incite violence against someone based on their race, class, or gender. We shouldn't be saying, hey, they are attacking us. They are doing this and that, because there's been instances where we have that people are doing that. They're causing divide. They're causing this instigating outside of the district, feeding into false narratives, inciting division. That's also unethical. It is very unethical. And we see people doing that. And so if anybody has a tangible concern, come express it in an effective communication way. But we all see the people trying to just stir up chaos as a political tool. And so we encourage all those people to take note that we're not playing those games anymore. Maybe the previous president was a poor leader and she allowed these things to happen, but this should not be happening in our meetings. We should be having smooth, effective meetings. And so I, as a president, offered restorative justice meeting to have an opportunity to come together, right? I had asked many times for team building opportunities for to be included in the decision-making process. So that was not offered before. It did cause a lot of chaos. We're moving in a new direction. Any additional comments? Wonderful. So this is our first reading. I would like to add onto this here, no recording, like limitations surrounding recording.
Madam President, if I may, so this particular item is just a discussion item. It's not a policy item. So if the board wishes to make changes to this specific board bylaw, we would bring it back under the 6.0 policy items and make revisions at that point to it, and then we would bring it back to the board for first reading. So this particular item was just brought forth so the board can have that discussion as a preliminary start.
Perfect. Great. So I think ethics should not have to be written down, but I have seen that, yes, you have to mandate ethics. And so it would be great to outline in this what workplace harassment is, and that, yes, a board member can engage in workplace harassment of another board member, what that is, and to not do that, because I thought it was common sense, but it's might not be. So is there anything else? And now, team, this is our first reading. If you look over it, you have additional suggestions, please email me in the soup and we will do our best to incorporate your feedback. Moving on,